In public imagination and pop culture, career firefighting is viewed as the ideal civil service career. It's seen as a noble calling that combines hero status with unbeatable financial security. Work a few days a week, stack massive overtime checks, and retire at age 50 with a guaranteed bulletproof public pension for life. Media headlines routinely highlight six-figure compensation reports for municipal firefighters. When taxpayers see reports showing senior firefighters pulling in $110,000 to $140,000 a year, the common assumption is that these first responders are living financially stress-free, accumulating substantial wealth while working a flexible schedule. But if you step out of the recruitment office and perform a rigorous financial audit on a career firefighter's actual pay stub, that dream image rapidly dissolves. The headline numbers published by city governments are heavily inflated by brutal compulsory overtime, and they hide a complex web of aggressive paycheck deductions, modern pension tier rollbacks, and severe physical taxes. Welcome to the hidden economy of municipal emergency services. Behind the headline, earnings numbers, lies a reality of mandatory 56-hour work weeks, forced extra shifts, high mandatory pension contributions that swallow up to 15% of gross pay, and a modern pension reform system that has systematically dismantled retirement benefits for newer hires. Today, we are opening the ledger on the fire department. We will break down the Fair Labor Standards Act overtime trap, expose the multi-tiered public pension crisis, account for out-of-pocket health and equipment expenses, and calculate the true effective hourly wage of a career firefighter. Let's find out what a first responder actually takes home. To understand why a firefighter's paycheck is so misunderstood, we have to look at how their work hours are structured. Unlike typical corporate or municipal workers who log a standard 40-hour work week, most full-time career firefighters work a 24-hour shift schedule. Whether it's 24 hours on duty followed by 48 hours off, or 48 hours on and 96 hours off, their baseline schedule demands roughly 56 hours per week. That schedule means a firefighter logs 2,912 baseline hours every year, over 800 hours more than a standard full-time corporate employee. So when a city advertises a starting salary of $60,000, that isn't paying $28 an hour like it would in a normal 40-hour job. In reality, it breaks down to a base wage of just $20.60 an hour. So, it gets worse when you analyze how overtime is legally calculated under the FLSA Section 207K exemption. Federal law permits municipal fire departments to use extended work periods, often 14 or 28-day cycles, before paying time and a half overtime. Firefighters don't get overtime after 40 hours in a week. They often must clear 53 hours a week or 212 hours in a 28-day cycle, just to qualify for overtime pay rates. Then comes the reality of staffing shortages and mandatory overtime, often called mandis. If a firefighter's 24-hour shift is ending at 7 a.m. and the oncoming shift is understaffed due to injury, illness, or vacancies, that firefighter cannot legally leave. They are ordered to stay for another 24 hours, stretching into a continuous 48 to 72 hours on duty. While working those extra shifts generates higher gross income, it is not optional bonus money. It is forced physical labor. Working 72 consecutive hours under emergency response conditions causes acute sleep fragmentation, high cortisol spikes, and rapid physical wear, turning that extra pay into compensation for severe physical drain. So, the hours are longer than they look, and the overtime rules are rigged against you. But that's just the paycheck. The real long-term damage has been done to the one benefit everyone still thinks firefighters get: the pension. Now let's address the biggest financial myth in public safety. Older generations of firefighters benefited from legendary Tier 1 pension plans, retiring at age 50 or 52 with 80 to 90% of their highest salary, complete with full cost of living adjustments and fully funded retiree health care. Following the 2008 financial crisis, states and municipalities across the nation overhauled public pension systems, introducing harsher Tier 2 and Tier 3 structures for newer hires. Under these modern plans, the retirement age was pushed back from 50 up to 57 or 62 years old. The multiplier was slashed, capping benefits at significantly lower percentages, and stringent caps were placed on final average salary calculations. To keep these underfunded pension systems afloat, cities significantly raised the mandatory employee contribution rates. Today's career firefighters routinely see 10 to 15% of their gross salary automatically withheld for pension funding on every single paycheck. Crucially, in many states, firefighters do not participate in Social Security. They do not earn Social Security credits on their fire salary, and federal rules like the windfall elimination provision can slash or eliminate any private sector Social Security benefits they earned in other jobs. If their local pension system suffers cuts or poor funding, they have no federal safety net to fall back on. Additionally, municipal subsidies for retiree health care have been widely scaled back or eliminated. Modern firefighters must set up and self-fund separate post-employment health plans, or Roth IRAs, just to cover health insurance between retirement and Medicare eligibility. Beyond taxes and pension contributions, being a career firefighter carries substantial out-of-pocket operational costs. While departments provide basic turnout gear, firefighters are routinely responsible for purchasing their own station work uniforms, physical training gear, parade uniforms, and high-performance structural boots, costing $500 to $1,000 annually. Today, over 70% of fire department call volume is emergency medical services. To maintain employment, many firefighters must maintain active paramedic or EMT certifications. Maintaining these licenses requires hundreds of hours of continuing education, specialized recertification courses, and state license renewals, costs that are frequently paid out of pocket or during uncompensated off-duty time. Then there is the invisible physical tax. Studies show that firefighters face significantly higher rates of occupational cancer due to toxic synthetic smoke exposures and chemical flame retardants like PFAS embedded in legacy turnout gear. Cardiac events remain the leading cause of line-of-duty deaths, because workers' compensation claims for occupational disease can be tied up in legal disputes for years. Many firefighters pay out of pocket for supplemental income protection insurance, specialized cancer insurance policies, and private physical therapy to treat chronic back, knee, and shoulder injuries sustained during heavy rescue calls. To reveal the raw economic bottom line, let's run a definitive, real-world annual balance sheet for an established mid-career firefighter paramedic, working a standard 56-hour schedule with mandatory overtime. We start with a base salary of $65,000 for 2,912 baseline hours, adding $18,000 in overtime, pay for 300 extra hours, plus a $4,000 paramedic stipend, brings total gross earnings to $87,000. On paper, this looks like a solid income. Now, mandatory withholdings strike. First, the 12% mandatory pension contribution removes $10,440. Federal income tax claims roughly $10,440. Medicare tax takes $1,261. State and local income taxes take $3,915. Total tax and pension drag alone consumes $26,056. Next, we deduct operational and career expenses. IAFF union dues remove $1,200. Family health insurance premiums and contributions to a retiree health fund take $4,800. Uniforms, boots, and safety gear upkeep cost $800. Supplemental disability and cancer insurance policies take $1,200. The final result? Out of an $87,000 gross headline salary, requiring over 3,200 hours on duty, the firefighter's actual spendable post-tax liquid take-home pay is $52,944 a year, or $4,412 a month. When you divide that liquid return by the 3,212 total hours logged inside the firehouse, their effective liquid compensation drops to $16.48 an hour. Firefighting remains one of the most vital, respected callings in modern society. But the idea that it offers easy money or guaranteed public wealth is a myth. Between mandatory 56-hour work weeks, uncompensated physical fatigue, rising pension deductions, and eroded Tier 2 retirement benefits, career firefighters earn every single dollar through heavy physical and financial trade-offs. If you're a career first responder, how does your net take-home compare after pension contributions and overtime? Drop your perspective in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And that wraps our first 15 profession audits. Subscribe for more real breakdowns of what jobs actually pay, once every layer gets stripped away.